Match found.
Yes, I'm pumped.
Six most powerful extinct lions. Number 6. Cape Lion. First up is the Cape Lion, scientifically known as Panthera leo melana chaita. This was a subspecies of lion that once roamed the Cape of Good Hope region in South Africa. More specifically, its historical range extended from the southernmost point of the continent through the Eastern Cape and possibly reached the Free State and Northern Cape provinces. This line existed during the 18th and 19th centuries, which is relatively recent, though the precise date of its extinction remains a subject of debate. What set the Cape Lion apart from the others was its appearance. The most notable feature was its exceptionally dark and thick mane. It draped over the shoulders and chest of the lion, giving it a unique and imposing presence. Furthermore, Cape Lions were generally smaller in body size when compared to other African lion subspecies. Adult male Cape Lions typically weighed between 160 to 180 kilograms, 352 to 396 pounds. What made the Cape Lion so uniquely powerful actually relates back to its appearance. Its remarkably dense mane actually served as a tough defense during conflict. Its thick, dark collar shielded the neck from potential bites and scratches, enhancing its chances of succeeding in encounters with rival lions and formidably large prey. Number 5. Mossback Lion. Next up, let's talk about the mossback lion. Scientifically classified as Panthera leo fossilis, this was a prehistoric subspecies of lion that roamed the Earth during the Pleistocene epoch, which spanned from about 2.58 million to 30,000 years ago. The remains of these creatures have actually been unearthed in several locations across Europe. One of the first significant discoveries of a mossback lion specimen was made in Mossback, Germany, thus giving the subspecies its name. In terms of appearance, one of the most striking features of the mossback lion was its colossal size. Adult males of this subspecies were estimated to weigh around 350 to 420 kilograms, 770 to 920 pounds. This impressive stature endowed them with immense strength, enabling them to tackle formidable prey species that roamed the icy landscapes of the Pleistocene. Also, the mossback lion's fur was thick and shaggy, providing insulation against the frigid temperatures of the Ice Age. This adaptation allowed them to survive in the harsh, unforgiving climates of their time.
Not ready yet.
Additionally, this thick fur also made the mossback lion more difficult for other predators to attack. What made the mossback lion so powerful was its unique skull structure, which had a shorter snout and a wider brain case. This allowed the mossback lion to utilize its jaw more effectively when compared to modern-day lions. They also had larger teeth than other lions. Number 4. Barbary lions. On the number 4 spot is the Barbary lion, also known as Panthera leo or Atlas lion. This subspecies of lion was native to the Atlas Mountains of North Africa, particularly in regions that now comprise Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, and possibly parts of Libya. In terms of size, Adult males were relatively large, with reported weights ranging from 200 to 230 kilograms, 440 to 510 pounds, or even more. What made the Barbary lion extremely powerful was its enlarged liver. Now, you might be wondering how an enlarged liver can make an animal powerful. Well, let me explain. The Barbary lion's liver actually played a critical role in the lion's ability to survive and thrive in the harsh, arid conditions of its native habitat. The large liver of the Barbary lion served as a reservoir for both energy and water. In an environment characterized by limited access to food and water sources, this adaptation was nothing short of crucial. The liver's capacity to store glycogen, a form of stored glucose, provided the lion with a vital source of sustained energy during periods of scarcity. This meant that the Barbary lion could endure longer periods without immediate access to food. This is beyond powerful for an animal that exists in hot environments. Furthermore, the enlarged liver also allowed the Barbary lion to efficiently store water. This was of utmost importance in the water-scarce North African desert. The ability to store water in the liver gave the Barbary lion a distinct advantage when water sources were distant or scarce, enabling it to sustain itself during periods of drought. Number 3. American lion. Next up we have the American lion, scientifically known as Panthera leo atrox. This big cat roamed North America during the Pleistocene epoch. To be more specific, the American lion was primarily found in what is now the United States, with fossils and remains discovered from regions spanning from Alaska in the north to Mexico in the south. Adult American lions were exceptionally large, weighing an estimated 220 to 360 kilograms, 485 to 794 pounds. This made the American lion one of the largest known felids in history. In terms of appearance, the American lion had a robust build, well adapted for hunting large prey.
Yet.
Its coat was mostly a tawny color, providing effective camouflage in the varied landscapes it inhabited. Similar to modern lions, males sported a modest mane that didn't connect around their neck, though it's believed to have been even less developed than that of its African counterparts. But what made the American lion so powerful? Well, the mighty physique and size made this feline a top-tier predator in its ecosystem. It likely targeted a range of prey, including mammoths, bison, and other large herbivores that populated North America during the Pleistocene. Its sheer size and strength would have allowed it to overpower even the most formidable of game. Number 2. Beringian lion. Also known as Panthera spelaea vereshchagen, this subspecies of lion lived approximately 370,000 to 190,000 years ago. Fossil remains of the Beringian lion have been discovered primarily in the Beringian region. In terms of its physical characteristics, the Beringian lion shared some similarities with its contemporary relatives, but also had distinctive features. It was a large felid, with adult males estimated to weigh between 230 to 360 kilograms, 507 to 794 pounds. What made the Beringian lion powerful was its enlarged paws that provided this feline with increased traction, particularly on slippery surfaces like snow and ice. With its enhanced grip, the lion could move deftly across frozen terrains, enabling it to stalk and pursue prey more effectively. This advantage in mobility gave the Beringian lion an edge in the pursuit of food, a critical factor for its survival in this demanding environment. Additionally, the size of the lion's paws played a vital role in increasing its striking power.
Match found. This video is brought to you by Tokyo to this tug toy for 2 days and medicine. And each month's box comes with a theme. This month's theme is Snacking Shibuya, giving you the true feeling of being downtown in Tokyo. But here's the thing, you're getting snacks you may not understand, especially in languages you may not be able to read. And therefore, something like this could be a bit intimidating. That's where our 24-page pamphlet comes in handy. Let's say we want to try these Kit Kats, but we don't know what allergens are in them or even what flavor they are. We just flip to their page in the pamphlet. That will tell us the allergens, the flavor, and an interesting tidbit about the snack we're interested in. So now that I know what I'm eating, down the hatch. What a rich, creamy, complex flavor coming from a Kit Kat. It's delicious. That's only Tokyo Treat. We still have to talk about Sakura Co. Sakura Co is very different from Tokyo Treat. Sakura Co gives you a glimpse into traditional snacking in Japan. With handmade and artisanal snacks, Sakura Co gives you a look into how Japan has been snacking for hundreds of years. And this month's theme for relationships in Naruto, some do fit like Cinderella's shoe. So let's go ahead and talk about the ones that make sense. The one that is unequivocally the most agreed upon that it makes sense and is also really cute, Shikamaru and Temari. Shikamaru and Temari had more build up for a relationship than any other couple in the show, hands down. You can be like, oh, Naruto and Hinata. Yeah, Hinata had a crush on him, but Naruto didn't know who she was for 700 episodes. Shikamaru and Temari met in the Chunin exams and they battled and it was super cute, and Shikamaru gave up because he ran out of chakra, and then Temari went on to go destroy large swaths of Konoha, you know, romance. But even after that, they're seen walking around the village together whenever Temari's around, or they have to go out on missions together as Chunin, and their personalities are largely contradictory, with Temari being boisterous and loud, and Shikamaru being very reserved and quiet, which very much resembles what Shikamaru's parents' relationship looks like. So she fits into the generation, and they create a very powerful child in Shikadai who has the intellect of Shikamaru and the wind ability of Temari, and shadow releasing of Shikamaru. Overall, 10 out of 10. Perfect couple in Naruto. The gold standard. So let's talk about the silver standard, Hinata and Naruto. See, I have no real problems with them being shipped together. Obviously, Hinata has had a crush on Naruto since episode 1. They've been building up to it. You can't see that, you're insane. And obviously, for a very long time, Naruto had a huge crush on Sakura. You could say it ran all the way till Shippuden, because when Sakura admits her love for Naruto, he considered taking her up on it. I mean, he shuts down one of those savage moments in anime history, but still, it takes him aside. My problem is the subtlety that Naruto approached Hinata with. Obviously, Naruto was not to rectify his issue, but for the entirety of Naruto and Naruto Shippuden, Naruto does not even notice Hinata. Sure, when she gets murdered by pain, he freaks out and comes from. But the thing is, I feel as though he would have done that for any member of the Konoha 13. If that was Sai out there, Shino, Kiba, he would have been upset. Even more so if it was someone like Shikamaru. And then there's obviously the fact that they held hands in the war arc. Adorable. Round of applause. But it felt like physical contact tacked on in order to lead us to the conclusion that Naruto and Hinata would end up together. See, what Kishimoto did very well with Temari and Shikamaru was he hinted at that. They flirted. Naruto being so painfully obtuse takes away from them. Unless, of course, you watch Naruto The Last, which is the reason that they're the silver standard to me. Naruto The Last is about Naruto addressing his feelings. Hinata, finally, it takes her being kidnapped by one of the last Otsutsuki's alive who lives on the moon that figures it out. And obviously they have Boruto, Jogon, maybe because of Hinata receiving Hamura's chakra. And they have another daughter, Himawari, who has the maybe. We don't know. And they're saying, well, Naruto should have ended up with Haru or Sakura. Sakura, no, this was a better choice for on the line. Haru wouldn't have made as powerful a child with Naruto as Hinata did. See, that child was grounded. Which is incredible. The fact that child wouldn't be 100% Uzumaki means they wouldn't be able to chance. More likely than not, they would have had more chakra than Naruto. Effectively, it would have just been Naruto squared. And while some people may want that, that seems boring to me. So the combination of Hinata's powers and Naruto's powers into both Boruto and Himawari makes me really happy. And the dynamic between them, even though it's just kind of Hinata as a housewife and Naruto never home, is still kind of functional and cute. Hinata's living her dream, and Naruto is happy with somebody's life. Hinata very few people in the village who would deal with Naruto being away. Also, at least in the last. Okay, now we'll get to an existing relationship that makes no sense. It's not even the brother standard. It isn't a standard. You probably guessed it already. It's Sakura and Sasuke from the jump of Naruto. Sasuke has never shown any interest in Sakura. Obviously, the moment where she tries to stop him for the first time is very tough for Sasuke because maybe he's got a little bit of feelings for her. However, in the beginning of Shippuden, he almost Kirins her to death alongside Naruto. He stabs her in Shippuden. He puts her in a genjutsu where he stabs her again in Shippuden when she's trying to get him back. The entirety of the show, he is both emotionally and physically abusive to Sakura. But he's also like that to every single woman in his life. Because some people will be like, well, why did Sasuke get with Sakura? And while that would have made a powerful child, no doubt, I once again say it probably wouldn't be as powerful as Sarada currently is. Yes, the insane amount of chakra that this child would have gotten from the Uzumaki would have been nuts. And that child but that's it. You get Sharingan for a long time. And while that's very powerful in its own right, having Sharingan for a good amount of time and also the insane strength and speed of your mother, on top of the possibility of a strength 100 skill, is significantly stronger. About what makes the strongest would be. I'm talking about why. Why on earth did Sakura end up with Sasuke? In what might have been Kishimoto's largest fumble in the history of Naruto, of which there is many, Sakura should have rejected Sasuke at the end. In a moment that could have been very powerful for Sakura and just shonen, she could have said, the way you've treated me your entire life does not earn you the right to be here. He comes back to the village, he's expecting to be with Sakura or Ino, and they both look at him and say, sure, you might have paid for what he did to Naruto. What about us? What about stabbing me? What about emotionally abusing me? What about that being genjutsu? Nope. Sasuke says it's okay. Sakura says it's okay. Writing one of the most powerful women in the universe off just like that. One of the most doggedly persistent people in Naruto apparently has no will when it comes to a man. If she didn't have other options, I guess I understand forgiving Sasuke somewhere down the line and ending up with her. But there is the easiest layup of all time. You know, outside of Naruto, who's been in love with Sakura her entire life, Rock Lee. In fact, they had built up for Rock Lee and Sakura before. When Rock Lee was in the hospital after his fight against Gaara, Sakura goes and visits him. Lee constantly brings Sakura flowers and invents his feelings for her. It's much the same as Hinata in Naruto, but the gender swapped. And Rock Lee a top 3 favorite character in the Naruto franchise from the Naruto fandom. He also,
you want to play? Let's play.
Including Naruto, encapsulates what Naruto is about. He encapsulates the fact that the circumstance of your birth does not determine how powerful, how strong, or how driven you can be. Let him marry the woman he wants to. Now I know I said if Sasuke ended up with Karin, that child would be Sarada. Look me in the eyes right now and tell me Rock Lee and Sakura wouldn't make a child stronger than Sarada. It gains 100 years Sarada's strength, Rock Lee's speed. What do you want? That child would be Might Guy on steroids. But instead, who's cool? He has a natural anxiety-driven drunken face. That's cool, but we don't even know who his mother is. In Rock Lee, a crowd favorite is relegated to being a single father. Why? Sai got married. He's one of my favorite characters, but he does not hold nearly as much weight in the fandom as Rock Lee does. Rock Lee got to go to the spin-off. Sakura should be with Rock Lee, and Sasuke should be with He has never treated anybody in his life even remotely good enough to end up with them. And that's including Karin, who he has stabbed with his Chidori, used her like a sensory every chance he got. Not to mention, more likely than not, that her emotions towards Sasuke of love are Orochimaru playing with her memories. But since we were talking about Metal Lee, let's talk about Metal Lee's possible mother, Tenten. Tenten was gonna end up with Neji. I don't care what you say, I don't care what you think, that's what was going to happen. Neji was not going to marry Hinata, they're cousins. I understand that Hayashi likes to keep it in the blood, but Hayashi has also been planning how to get Hinata with Naruto both of their entire lives. I have a video about it. Go watch it. That being said, Neji's death did serve as a way for Naruto and Hinata to get closer. But if you think about it, Neji and Tenten makes a lot of sense. Neji is a genius, and Tenten is not. But Neji's character arc was realizing that those born without strength can achieve it. And while Tenten may not be the most impressive member of the Konoha 13, she was still stronger by the end of the show than she was in the beginning. And that, believe it or not, was through a lot of hard work. On top of this, they were the 2 odd men out in Team Guy, often having to deal with Might Guy and Rock Lee shenanigans. And in those circumstances, they had each other. They're both very laid-back personalities, both known for their abilities to roll their eyes at their fellow teammates and sensei. I honestly think they would have been really cute together. Neji most likely would have continued on as a Jonin or the head of the Hyuga family. I know he literally couldn't be according to like Hyuga law, but Hayashi watched his brother Hizashi die and it kind of changed Hayashi's brain on side and main branch family roles. Also, Hinata would have been busy being pregnant with Naruto's children, so maybe she wouldn't have been perfect for the role at the time. I don't know, it doesn't matter because technically he died to a stick. And instead, Tenten had to secretly have Rock Lee's child. Look at the eye shape and tell me Tenten is not Metal Lee's mother. What happened was Rock Lee got a little bit drunk, and remember, anytime any amount of alcohol hits Rock Lee's lips, he forgets everything. That night, 10-10, bing bang boom, Metal Lee. I think that Metal Lee got dropped off on his doorstep like 9 months later and he just has no idea whose kid it is. That's why he's not going to 10-10 for like aliments to mind transfer jutsu on the direction I'm going though. You see, what's wild to me, and I guess makes a lot of sense for Gaara, is that he's one of the most widely beloved and widely desired people in the Hidden Sand. I mean, he's the Kazekage who turned
agents. I was going to start fighting back sooner or later.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto 2 Blue Vortex discussion. Today, I want to talk to you guys about something that stood out at the end of the last manga chapter in a huge way, which is now that Boruto is back inside of Konoha and Amato has basically blown up this whole secret that Kawaki wasn't really Naruto's son. We have to ask the oh so important question of, is Kawaki about to get exposed now? Because a lot of you guys have hit me up saying that Kawaki is officially on Broad Watch, and I will be honest, I definitely think we run the risk of this being true, but I also see one potential roadblock in a narrative way that will keep Kawaki from getting fully exposed. So as we all know, in the manga chapter, Amato tells Sumire that he knew all along that something wasn't right about that Kawaki fella. He took one look at the ninja tech in Kawaki's body and said, hey, hold up a second, this ain't right here. Naruto's son, he's not a cyborg, so why does this guy have my ninja tech in his body? That doofus Katasuke could never do something this good. Naruto's son, he shouldn't have the genetic data of my daughter inside of his palm seal, so what's going on here? Amato was able to quickly piece together that his memory had been altered and he could no longer trust his memories, and the man kept it quiet to himself the entire time because it was in his best interest
it's
to do
you
so.
and
However,
me.
he slipped up here and said all this information while Sai was monitoring it remotely, and Shikamaru has now been made aware of everything, which means either Amato got too comfortable or Amato did this on purpose. So it does stand to reason that Amato is responsible for Kawaki being on fraud watch right now. Because if Shikamaru was sipping on that omnipotence juice like he appeared to be, no longer questioning his memories, Amato's full confession just gave him a reason to do the one thing that Sarda has been begging him to do, which is speak to Boruto to find out the truth about what happened when Naruto was killed and what exactly has been going on these last 2 years. I think we all agree that Shikamaru was well within his rights to do so because as Hokage, he does need all the information, particularly when it's become clear that yet again Amato was holding out on him for vital intel and the threats outside the building dropping up in a major way. However, where I see there being potential roadblocks here is I can see the story giving the same swerve or the story pushing in a way that is completely in character. At the end of Boruto Naruto's generation, Boruto stated that he wanted to end this dispute between brothers, and that for the first time he understood Kawaki on a deeper level, and it was hearing that speech that made Sasuke crack a smile out of nostalgia, because that was the same situation Naruto was in with Sasuke, and it's over that in order to fully appreciate Boruto's Kawaki's situation and why it's more complicated than Boruto going to Kawaki's office saying, hey, that guy is a liar. I am Naruto's son. You see these baby blue eyes or baby blue eyes? You see this blonde hair? You see these whiskers? Silly Shikamaru, I'm really Naruto's son. I thought you had a 200 IQ. Must be 2 IQ. Sasuke was someone that Naruto could reach because despite them being similar in a lot of ways, despite them being best friends, being close enough that they're almost like brothers, Naruto could never relate to Sasuke because he didn't know Sasuke's pain at that time. That's why in strong one in Naruto. The only person who really got through to Sasuke when he was sliding on that edge of joining Orochimaru, it was Kakashi. He didn't flinch when Sasuke was sitting there saying, "I was you, I killed everyone that you cared about." Kakashi looked at him and said, like, "Hey, that actually happened to me, man. You sitting there being all emo and brooding, but hey, I overcame it, and guess what?
Not
You're gonna
ready
overcome it too. Once you learn to accept that hole in your heart, it's actually been filled by your comrades, the comrades you have remaining, and
It's you and me.
he proceeded to leave Sasuke strung up in a tree to think things over. Kakashi could reach him, whereas Naruto couldn't. But Kakashi wasn't the one that would actually save Sasuke. It had to be Naruto. See, Boruto's in that same spot with Kawaki right now. Boruto was this spoiled brat who had some similarities. That's why they hit it off the way they did. They were both being used against their will by the Otsutsuki. They were both in the process of having their humanity stripped away from them in a literal sense, because with each passing moment, their human DNA was being overridden by karma, and eventually they would lose their souls so the Otsutsuki could actually be reborn in their body. However, Boruto never knew the feeling of loneliness that Kawaki went through. That feeling that someone truly lonely or has ever been truly lonely understands, which is how it feels when you're surrounded in a room with people and yet you're still alone. You don't fit in because the things that you've been through in life change in a way to where you don't really connect with normal people. I get what Kawaki is. Sitting at a dinner table with someone standing and not knowing how to feel, because it's not something I ever experienced growing up. I get why Kawaki was so cold when it came to the idea of losing a close friend and being willing to hurt others for his own good, because I know that pain that comes from having a friend gunned down over getting caught up into gang stuff, and having another friend getting killed in front of their kid because they slept with the wrong person's girlfriend. Stuff like that makes you numb to friendships that you have left, and you build up a wall to keep yourself from getting too invested in someone because you know that they can go at any moment. Or you go the opposite end where you get so overprotective over them in the way that Kawaki did with Naruto. Kawaki did not want to lose Naruto under any circumstances, and he went to extremes to make sure that never happened. For Boruto, that feeling of being out of place, of bearing the hatred of people, hatred that he did nothing of his own fault to earn, it's something that Boruto's never had to experience. Just as Naruto needed to experience losing Jiraiya and being face to face with the person who killed Jiraiya, in order to be able to have the right to face Sasuke and bring him back to the village, Naruto needed to undergo that. Boruto has to go through the burdens that he's going through right now to end this dispute between brothers between Kawaki. That doesn't happen by Boruto fully blowing up Kawaki's spot to Shikamaru. At best, I could see Boruto walking that middle line, saying something as ominous along the lines of Naruto isn't dead, but not dropping the full blame on Kawaki, because there are a few reasons for it. It's because Boruto now understands that pain and loneliness and the suffering, that he's not going to force Kawaki back into that, which is exactly what would have happened if he reveals the truth right now. Boruto isn't petty enough to do that, in my opinion, because the experiences he's gone through, they've hardened him enough to where he sees the problem with doing that. And right now, Kawaki, the chance to turn into slowly lose it all. And the other boy who took that wealth for granted is slowly getting it back. It's part of their character arcs, but there's still bumps in the road. Take his Shinji hot in terms of here to watch this.
If you think about it, it's no wonder you're all so capable of hurting each other. After all that practice on me.
Reloading.
Let's begin.
Where are you? Grenade! Get out of here! Stay down!
That's one rampage.
I'll find you!
Seconds until stage change.
Not ready yet. Trying to hide. One down.
Shock dart.
Chambers looking good. Rampage.
Grenade! We'll catch them.
You lose.
Ouch! Bomb buddy out.
Reloading.
Ultimate orb spawning.
Got him.
New stage in 10.
Jets
Reloading.
grounded.
Stage 3.
Got one. Free for me.
Dominating.
Jets grounded. Okay. Omen killed. Here comes the
Rampage. Charge your ults.
My ult's ready.
grenade.
Goodbye.
Here. Listen up. Get out of my way.
Got him. I'll find you.
Not ready yet.
Final stage.
Get him. Jets grounded.
Party's over.
Dropped. Reload. Wait for me. They're blind with fear.
So close.
Got a shot.
Grenade! Grenade! Die. Yikes.
Where are you?
My ult is ready.
Mark one.
Now for
Ultimate orb slain.
So dead.
Sova just.
be faster. Headshot.
Where are you?
March 1.
Mark 2. Bomb buddy out.
15 kills to go.
Here with my copy. Enemy down.
Kills remaining.
That makes 3.
Revealing enemy. Found.
Block his sight. Fire in the hole! Where are
Ultimate ult.
Mark 2.
Kills
Mark 3.
remaining.
Try again. Grenade! Get out of my way! Reloading. Oh. Satchel out. Bomb buddy out.
Match found.
Yes, I'm pumped.
And try if you want to check to end for me. Months of training, Uka was finally ready to come fly with me. But to fly with Uka, you need even better weather conditions. When placing up the harness, he legs and he knew he was about to take off. He was super excited. When Uka is in the air, he shows no fear. I cannot imagine something better to share with my dog.
Reloading.
Decisions in anime.
Not ready
Sometimes we wish we could change them, and sometimes they're perfect. But regardless of whether or not we like the decisions made by some of the most important characters in some of our favorite animes, they have consequences. And there's no place that's more true than animes with expansive universes. A decision made by a character 400 years prior to the timeline of the anime we're watching can have massive repercussions in the anime. Gold D. Roger conquering the Grand Line and finding the One Piece and then dying of a sickness is what spurred on the era of pirates. Asta's mom deciding to adopt a devil she randomly found is what spurred the creation of the strongest person in the Black Clover universe. But to me, at least, it feels as though there is no other anime or manga out there that has as many important decisions made prior to the timeline than Naruto. See, the Naruto universe as a universe is one of the oldest in anime, spanning over the course of thousands of years. We had the decision by Kaguya to descend down to the earth and jump Ishiki, wanting to eat the chakra fruit for herself. Her decision to get knocked up by a man by the name of Tenza and have 2 children, Hagoromo and Hamura. Hagoromo and Hamura's decision to battle against Kaguya and seal her away. Hagoromo's decision to have 2 children, Indra and Ashura, who would reincarnate every single generation to continue to battle against each other. And one of those reincarnations of Ashura, Hashirama, had a lot of very important decisions to make in his lifetime. Maybe the most important of which being, what do we do with these tailed beasts? See, if you followed this page for any amount of time, or have simply just watched and/or read Naruto, you'll know that Hashirama collected 8 out of the 9 tailed beasts and decided to give them away to the other villages. He did this because Madara bumped into Kurama while pouting in the woods and decided to use Kurama to battle against Hashirama, which introduced Hashirama to the concept of tailed beasts, who up until this moment were kind of just ignored or simply not known about. See, Hagoromo purposely created all of the tailed beasts and placed them in areas where they were well suited. Isobu, a turtle, was placed in a swamp. Shukaku, a tanuki that is made out of sand, was placed in the desert, and so on and so forth. However, Hashirama, like the big game, not hunter, but collector that he is, decided to wrangle up all of these tailed beasts and get them all under one roof. That is until, of course, he decided to sell all of these tailed beasts to the other 4 ninja villages in order to make sure that everybody had weapons, so hopefully we don't use them against each other. It didn't work. But what if Hashirama had chosen different? See, the placement of all of these tailed beasts has always felt somewhat arbitrary to me. Some are arguably the correct decision, while others weird. What if Hashirama, instead of simply wanting to sell off the tailed beasts to the other villages in order to acquire peace, actually sat down and thought about what tailed beasts work with what clan or what person? What I'm driving at here is, what if instead of the actual tailed beast layout that we got in Naruto, it was switched up to be its most efficient? Kind of like the saying that a dog always matches its owner. What if the tailed beasts matched theirs? See, this is an interesting topic because obviously the tailed beasts were modeled after the certain areas they were placed in. However, some of those tailed beasts got displaced, meaning they ended up in villages or clans that they weren't well suited to, which is what we're gonna try and fix today. Because today we're talking who should have what tailed beast. Before we get to talking about any beasts, be they tailed or not, guys, please, for me, like this video, subscribe to the page, and hit that noti bell. If you've been following the page for a while, you'll know that I'm kind of a beast myself, at least when it comes to making content, because I have another channel called The Weeb Commander, where I talk about all anime that aren't Naruto or Boruto. Follow. However, the content train doesn't stop there, because I also have an anime podcast known as Otaku's Anonymous, where me and Danny Mata break down everything that happened in anime this week. It's available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So, diplomacy. It's tough. It's an uphill battle. It's really hard to be diplomatic when everybody else wants war. Which is why I think we can give Hashirama a pass here. He wasn't sitting down with a vision board envisioning what tailed beast would be best for who. He was trying to make sure that every single village had equal power. So if you give the 8 tails, which is the second strongest tailed beast in the Land of Lightning, we have to give them a second tailed beast that's weaker, which is why they got the 2-tailed Matatabi. But if we're gonna keep the strongest tailed beast, we probably shouldn't give ourselves a second one, and so on and so forth. He wanted to make sure that all of the hidden villages were as comfortable with each other as possible, mutually assured destruction and all that. Today, you and me don't have to worry about peace. I mean, like in a grand global sense, we probably have to worry about peace, but not within the Naruto universe. But regardless, as a premise, this video is kind of tough to attack, because while I could absolutely find an individual person that works perfectly for every tailed beast, not all of those people were alive during Hashirama's era. So do I tackle this video as a hypothetical about what Hashirama could have done better, or just as a hypothetical of where the tailed beast should be? Well, I've decided I'm actually going to take it case by case. And in a worst case scenario, I'll tell you what I believe Hashirama should have done and who I believe the tailed beast would be best suited with in any time point in the Naruto universe. Got it? Good. The best part about talking about the tailed beasts is they're in order. So obviously we're going to be starting with the one-tailed Shukaku. See, Shukaku was kind of an anomaly on this list because Shukaku Shukaku's placement wasn't up to Hashirama. Like I stated in the beginning of the video, Hashirama caught 8 out of 9 tailed beasts. Now, the reason that Hashirama only caught 8 out of the 9 tailed beasts is because the first Kazekage, Redo, actually caught Shukaku. Now, we're not entirely sure whether or not Redo caught Shukaku by himself or if he had help, but that doesn't really matter. All that matters is that by the time that the first 5 Kage Summit came around, the Hidden Sand already owned a tailed beast. And because of this, Redo actually wanted 30% of all of the sales that Hashirama was going to make upselling the tailed beasts. Now, he doesn't end up getting this because he caught the weakest tailed beast, and that's not really a great bargaining chip when the person selling tailed beasts has 8 tailed beasts, all of which are stronger than yours. That is, of course, if you're operating on the assumption that tailed beasts get stronger by the amount of tails they have, which is slightly corroborated by the fact that the 9 tails is the strongest and the 8 tails is the second strongest, but that's basically all we have for evidence. But because of the fact that Shukaku wasn't caught by Hashirama, he kind of falls into the category of he's right where he belongs. See, Shukaku was placed in the desert where the Hidden Sand Village was created by Hagoromo because Shukaku was made out of sand. In fact, he's the only tailed beast who isn't made out of like flesh and blood. He's made out of an element, which makes him absolutely perfect for the Hidden Sand, especially if we consider the fact that magnet release might hail from the Hidden Sand. So you know for a fact that Shimon and the third Kazekage both studied Shukaku in order to crack the code of his magnet release. That is to say, Shukaku's ability to control sand. And obviously the third Kazekage, who had magnet release and was able to control iron sand, cracked the code. That leaves us with the somewhat logical question, did the Hidden Sand have magnet release before Shukaku? Because obviously one of the biggest talking points in saying that Shukaku belongs to the Hidden Sand is that magnet release is there already, and therefore the magnet release tailed beast should be with the magnet release people. However, a good amount of evidence stacks up that magnet release didn't exist in the Hidden Sand until Shukaku, except for the fact that Redo caught Shukaku. See, we don't know Redo's abilities at all, but what we do know are Rasa's abilities. And we know that Rasa had a magnet release that allowed him to control gold dust, which is heavier than sand, and therefore by incorporating his gold dust into Shukaku's body, he could weigh him down and seal him. Now, if we're working on the Tails model, once again, Shukaku is the weakest tailed beast. Therefore, there could be a myriad of ways that Redo, who is the strongest person in the region, was able to bring all of the nomadic tribes of the Hidden Sand area under one roof and create the Hidden Sand Village, could have possibly defeated Shukaku and sealed him away. However, the most likely way that he did seal away Shukaku was magnet release. But also at the same time, it could have something to do with the pot that we see Shukaku sealed in when he was sealed in there with his first Jinchuriki, Bunpuku. But regardless of all of this, whether or not Shukaku was the thing that taught magnet release to the Hidden Sand Village, or if it existed there already, matters is that Shukaku was able to teach Gaara at least how to control sand, something that had never been done before. And being able to control sand in the desert and being able to teach other people how to control sand in the desert is important. And it's not something that Shukaku could have done anywhere else. So Shukaku belongs exactly where he is. Now, there is technically going to be other tailed beasts on this list that do kind of belong where they currently are, but not nearly as well as Shukaku belongs in the Hidden Sand. But coming up at our number 2 spot, we have a tailed beast, Matatabi, who absolutely does not belong where they are. See, Matatabi, for those of you who don't know, is a fire cat. I guess I lied earlier when I said Shukaku was the only tailed beast not made out of flesh and blood. Matatabi is quite literally made out of fire. Now, Matatabi's only known Jinchuriki is Yugito, who hailed from the Hidden Lightning. And while obviously Yugito played a massive role in Killer Bee's life and allowed him to foster a relationship with Gyuki, the Fire Cat being in the Land of Lightning makes zero sense whatsoever. Once again, I understand the logic here. You have to send 2 tailed beasts to all of the other villages, and for some reason 1 to the Hidden Waterfall. And if you're going to send the Hidden Lightning the 8 tails, which is the second strongest tailed beast besides the one that Konoha was keeping for themselves, you gotta send the weakest one that we have in our deck, the 2 tails. But I would argue that Matatabi shouldn't have gone anywhere. Matatabi is a fire cat. Matatabi should have absolutely stayed in the Land of Fire. And more specifically than that, Matatabi shouldn't have only just stayed in the Land of Fire, aka Konoha. She should have gone to the Uchiha. Duo 1 could make an argument that Matatabi should have gone to the Sarutobi, a much more trustworthy fire-based clan in Konoha. I have the Sarutobi later on this list, and for better reason. Not only are the Uchiha known across the globe for their fire release, which complement perfectly with Matatabi's fireballs, the Uchihas themselves have been often compared to cats, being stealthy, perfect assassins. I mean, the show went so far as to give Itachi cat ears in one of the cutest moments in anime history. In fact, if you want to take the Uchiha lineage one step further, we can talk about the arc where Itachi had to put the cat ears on, where Itachi had to go to a store run by a woman by the name of Nekoba, who ran a supply store that the Uchiha clan used frequently. And Itachi was involved in getting a paw print of Matatabi in the Paw Encyclopedia run by Nekoba. What a completely insane filler arc. You know what's funny? The Naruto showrunners realized the same thing that I realized, and it's just, if you put Itachi in it, people will watch it. But if you don't like the connection between the Uchiha's flames and Matatabi's flames and the cat-like appearances of Itachi and the rest of the Uchiha, Matatabi, if not with the Uchiha, still should have definitely stayed in Konoha. Why do I say this? There is an entire ninja cat clan in Konoha. In fact, that abandoned city where Nekoba lives that the Uchiha used to go to for supplies actually exists in canon, Konoha Hiden. And in that city, there's various Ninneko, or ninja cats that protect the entire city, some of which wear forehead protectors with a kanji for truth or sincerity on it. And there's a clan in Konoha with a connection to these ninja cats. The Izuno, who we learned about through a character in Boruto, Wasabi Izuno. And see, Wasabi has the ability to manifest chakra ears, claws, and tail that give her cat-like appearance and abilities. But to go even further beyond this, Wasabi has the ability to summon a cat Susanoo. I wish I was kidding. And this is an ability that's been passed down through her family for generations. So if you don't want to give Matatabi to the Uchiha, give it to the Izuno. I just figured you would like the Uchiha answer more. Because what's the rule, ladies and gentlemen? If you put Itachi in it, they'll watch it. Coming up at number 3, we have the Three Tails, Isobu. Isobu is another case of kind of in the right place. Isobu is modeled after a snapping turtle. He has the ability to cover whatever he touches in barnacles, and he's incredibly proficient in water release. Him ending up in the Hidden Mist Village just makes sense. And that's where Hagoromo put him in the first place, so good job, Hashirama. However, if I'm Hashirama and I'm not concerned about peace whatsoever, I'm looking to the person right beside me. See, by far the most, if not one of the most talented water ninjutsu users of all time was Hashirama's brother, Tobirama. He was able to use the water dragon jutsu with one hand sign, something that took the likes of Zabuza and Kakashi 44. His water release was so powerful, he was said to be able to cover entire battlefields with water he could control. And he was able to generate water ninjutsu where there was no clear and obvious source of water around him. When it comes to water ninjutsu, he is top 1, if not top 2. If we're gonna give the snapping turtle with insane water ninjutsu prowess to anybody, probably should have been our brother. With Tobirama's intellect, he probably would have been able to pull off more with the Jinchuriki cloak than any other Jinchuriki in history. I mean, the man created 3 jutsus that are still very much used at a high level today. If you had given him an entirely different avenue to study different kinds of power, who knows what he would have accomplished. Outside of that, if he had his own Jinchuriki cloak, you better believe he would have mopped up Kinkaku and Ginkaku. And as a Senju who created 2 of the most complicated sealing jutsus in history, because Flying Raijin is technically kind of a sealing jutsu, and Edo Tensei definitely is, I have no hesitation in my mind that Tobirama could have very easily sealed Isobu inside of himself. Tie that into the fact that his sister-in-law was an Uzumaki who could have taught him the 8 trigram seal, and that feels like a relatively obvious choice. However, if you do want to send Isobu to the Hidden Mist, then I have a better answer than just the likes of Yagura. I mean, obviously Yagura was incredibly talented, and therefore he became one of the deadliest Jinchuriki in history, a perfect Jinchuriki that almost killed Itachi and killed Itachi's partner Juzo. But I think there's a clan outside of Yagura that's actually more important to bolster in the history of the Hidden Mist. That would be the Hozuki clan. We know of 3 Hozukis: Mangetsu, Gengetsu, and Suigetsu. With Suigetsu and Mangetsu being the 2 brothers who wanted to use all 7 of the 7 swords of the mist, and Gengetsu Hozuki being the 2nd Hokage, who was brought back during the 4th Great Shinobi World War. And the Hozuki clan are kind of like royalty in the Hidden Mist, because they have one of the most powerful water release jutsus of all time: hydrification, which is a hidden jutsu, a jutsu passed down specifically through the Hozuki clan that allows them to liquidate parts of their body to make sure any physical harm doesn't actually come their way. It's Kamui without the blindness. Now, if you combined the chakra pool of Isobu with some of the innate abilities of the Hozuki clan members, like Suigetsu and Mangetsu's Kenjutsu ability, or Gengetsu's ability to summon a giant clam that disperses mist that puts everybody who inhales it under Genjutsu, you would have some of the most terrifying ninjas, well, in Naruto history, period. And while I don't believe that either Suigetsu or Mangetsu would have lived up to the hype of Yagura, I definitely believe that Gengetsu would have surpassed it, which is why, if not Tobirama, the Hozuki. Moving on to our number 4 spot, we have the Four Tails, Son Goku, known as the King of the Sage Apes, the wielder of lava release. Now, Son Goku's placement kind of makes sense. See, Son Goku was placed in a place with a lot of waterfalls by Hagoromo to keep an eye over all the apes. It's more of a foresty vibe, and therefore him ending up in the Land of Stone is kind of inaccurate. However, when you take into consideration the fact that he had lava release, which obviously requires a lot of rocks, it's not the worst placement for him. Better than him being somewhere like the Hidden Mist. But remember how I said I had the Sarutobi somewhere else on this list with better reasoning? Yeah, that's here. See, if you're gonna use the rationale that lava requires rocks, you could also use the rationale that lava requires fire. And in fact, I would argue that lava needs more fire than rocks. But it's probably 50-50. But here's the thing. Son Goku is by far one of the community's favorite tailed beasts. However, he has one of the more forgettable Jinchuriki. See, Son Goku was in Roshi from the Hidden Stone, whose entire life accomplishments pretty much sum up to slightly burning Naruto's forearm. And that's kind of it. So I can't help but think that there's a clan out there, specifically a clan in the Land of Fire, that's better suited for Son Goku. And since we've already used the Uchihas, that clan would obviously be the Sarutobi, who, just like the Uchihas, are known around the world for their incredibly powerful fire release. In fact, it was the Sarutobi clan in the 4th Great Shinobi World War that was responsible for drawing the quicklime that was holding the Ten Tails. The Sarutobi clan are one of the oldest and most trusted clans in Konoha, being the first clan to join Konoha after the merging of the Senju and the Uchiha. But outside of being incredibly proficient in fire release, there's also another connection to Son Goku from the Sarutobi. The standing connection they already have with monkeys. Son Goku is referred to as the handsome Monkey King, and obviously he's based off of Sun Wukong, who was King of the Monkeys. But you know who else was based off of Sun Wukong? Monkey King Enma, who was Hiruzen Summon, and proved that the Sarutobis had a long-standing connection with summonable monkeys, who may or may not be related to Son Goku in the first place. I mean, they're probably not related, considering the fact that Son Goku was a chakra construct created by Hagoromo, and that these monkeys that are summonable by the Sarutobi have probably been around for as long as Earth has, but they probably know each other. Is that specious? Anyways, if we have a clan well known for their fire release and their connection to monkeys, why wouldn't we give them the king of the sage monkeys? Pass down Son Goku through the generations of the Sarutobis, and eventually he'll end up in the hands of Hiruzen, who with his intellect and massive roster of ninjutsu, taijutsu, and genjutsu super boosted by the chakra connection to being a Jinchuriki to Son Goku, and adding lava release in there, absolutely would have killed Orochimaru. Tie that into the fact that we could get Monkey King Enma and Son Goku bantering about who's the real king of the monkeys. It's perfect. But not as perfect as our number 5 entry, because coming up at number 5, we have the Five Tails, Kukyo. Kukyo's appearance is confusing. Kukyo's supposed to be the combination of a horse and a dolphin, but honestly, when it comes down to the biggest similarity that I see between Kukyo and any real world animal is a deer. 4 legs like a horse, a body like a horse, and horns, usually a deer. This is kind of backed up by the fact that Hagoromo decided to place Kukyo in a foresty area. But where that foresty area is, we don't really know. However, we can speculate based on the fact that Kukyo has boil release, which Han, her Jinchuriki, who hails from the Hidden Stone, is able to use. See, Han uses the boil release of Kukyo to supercharge his muscles, essentially. He uses the boil release to superheat his chakra and make himself the fastest practitioner of taijutsu on Earth. On the same Earth, in the same timeline as Might Guy, mind you. On top of this, he's also able to use this steam generated from this boil release to burn people. But once again, Kukyo ending up in the Land of Stone doesn't make any sense to me, especially when you consider the 2 components required to make boil release, fire and water. Why would she end up in the Land of Stone? Now, obviously, Han is very powerful and makes very good use of her power, but I have a couple of better options for Kukyo. And honestly, she's the one I'm the least sure of, so I'll let you choose what's best. If Kukyo is in fact believed to be a deer, she should be with the Nara. See, the Nara in Naruto are actually named after a region in Japan. About 30 or 40 minutes north of Kyoto, there is a park known as Nara Park, where deer kind of coexist with humans. And these deer are fed and learn how to bow and are actually viewed as holy animals, kind of like how Hinduism views cows as holy animals. And therefore, the Nara clan in Naruto watch over a forest known as Nara Forest, where the deer in the Land of Fire live, specifically because they take the horns of these deers to use in medicine. In Japanese homeopathic medicine, the antlers of deers are said to have healing properties. And this is actually why the Nara clan created the shadow release jutsu in the first place, so they could stop the deers and take their horns. Outside of the Nara, because obviously Kukyo may or may not be a deer, I think the Kukyo should have been placed in the Land of hot water. The land of hot water is kind of a tourist trap. It's an area with a ton of hot springs that a lot of people from all across the Naruto continent go to relax. It had a hidden village for a couple of decades, however decided to get rid of it when they realized they didn't need ninjas, which is what made Hidan really mad and kind of sent him on his murderous little streak there. Not only will Kukio being in the land of hot water bolster the land of hot water's military might, but also geographically would just make the most sense for her. And then outside of the land of hot water, there's also just giving her to any user of boil release like Mei, the 5th Mizukage. However, she wasn't alive during Hashirama's time. Obviously, if she was able to superpower her own boil release by combining it with Kukio's, it would be absolutely insane. Especially when we consider the fact that without this super boosting, she was able to melt Sasuke's Susanoo ribcage. After the 5 tails, we have the 6 tails, the most forgotten tailed beast out of all of them, Saiken. See, Saiken is actually kind of why I rally against the idea that Shukaku is the weakest tailed beast. Saiken is just genuinely unimpressive. Saiken also falls into the categorization of kind of in the right place. See, Saiken's abilities allow her to create bubbles, or toxic sludge that melts anything she touches. On top of this, Saiken is incredibly well versed in water release, and therefore, since she is a slug and all of her abilities are either based off bubbles, ooze, or water release, her being in the hidden mist kind of makes sense. You could also argue that she would be a really good match for the Hozuki clan, whose hydrification technique also kind of makes them ooze-based. But we already used the Hozuki, so we'll just say that somebody in the hidden mist gets her. Outside of the hidden mist, there's also the fact that she is a slug. And there's a sage area in Naruto known as Shikatsu Forest where sage slugs